Okay.
Gallicantu.
So if you remember, we've been all the places. This is our last place. We've been at the Last Supper room, which it was on Thursday night. Okay? Sorry, it was, yeah, of course, it was on Thursday night. Jesus had this Last Supper room, a Last Supper with his disciple at the synagogue. We've been there just 1 hour ago. After they finished with the supper, they went all the way down through here, through the Kidron Valley, and went to Gethsemane. They prayed in Gethsemane, and then Judas came with the Romans, and they took Jesus to here. Okay? Why they took him here? Because Jesus was a Jew. And if you want to be condemned to death as a Jew, you have to have two courts. The religious one and the civil one. So Caiaphas, who was the head of the Sanhedrin, okay, the Sanhedrin is the highest religious court, okay, at that time. He wanted to get rid of Jesus. So what he basically did, he wants Jesus as soon as possible, very fast, to condemn him to death, because the next day they will take him to the Antonia fortress, where he will be condemned by Pinchas trial. According to Jewish law, even the trial that Caiaphas did to Jesus is not legitimate. Why? Because according to Jewish tradition, it's not allowed to have any court during nighttime. And it was a nighttime. So they came here, and we call this place also Caiaphas or Caiaphas Villa. Why we call it Caiaphas Villa? Because at that time the houses were very small, and Caiaphas has in our day like a mansion. Why? Because he was the most wealthy person among the Jews. For one reason, which is every single person getting into the temple at that time should pay half shekel, 50 cents. Alright? All the money goes to Caiaphas, and he will distribute. Caiaphas also was so powerful for one reason, because he was the mediator between the Jews, the Jewish community, and the Romans. So he wants to please both of them. After he was condemned to death by the Sanhedrin, we don't know anything about Jesus. The Bible doesn't tell us what happened to Jesus for at least 6 hours. 6 hours between Caiaphas' trial, court, and the next morning, where they took him to the Antonia fortress to be condemned by Pinchas and Quirinius. These 6 hours, where did he go? Nobody knew, until they start doing some excavation. Under this church, there is the ruins of a Byzantine church, and under that there is something called pit. It's a cistern that they think that Jesus, after his trial, he was tortured and he was imprisoned for one night before he went to the Pinchas. How we know that? Let's go and find out. We'll go down now. We'll go and see how we know that Jesus was in prison for one night here. Or I'm talking about one night, which are about 6 hours. Okay, and he was tortured also as well. The Bible doesn't tell us anything about that, and thank you for the early Christians. Alright, so we will start our tour down to see